course, is the code name of 4 daring, middle-aged, highly obsessed toy vloggers. Its purpose, to bring toy reviews and nostalgia to YouTube, a video sharing website that allows users to upload, view, share and comment. Hi, I'm Rudy Zissou, and insert coins to continue. So, a good few weeks back was the New York Toy Fair, and there was a reveal of the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter II Sagat, and it looks incredible. And I said to the guys in Figure Force I'd love to get a toy representation of Street Fighter II, and especially Sagat, Vega and Balrog, you know, Bison's 3 henchmen. And the Storm Collectible versions look incredible, and I'd want to get them to have a toy representation of a memory. I went on holiday to Bournemouth, I think, well, I must have been like 13, and it was a glorious week full of sunshine apart from one day. And that one day it was absolutely lashing it down with rain, and my mum and dad went off to, I think they're just to go for a little meal, and I was free to do as I please. And I walked along the promenade and I came across an arcade, and I'd not actually been in an arcade for I think maybe like 3 years, and I went in there and I was blown away by Street Fighter II. It was so mesmerising. I'd not seen, you know, an arcade game like that before. You know, I'd played Double Dragon and side-scrolling beat-em-ups, but not something as impressive as Street Fighter II. And I picked Guile straight away, and just the music was so incredible. I think I'd only got like £2 on me, so I think I played, it was 50p a go, and I had 4 goes, twice with Guile, once with Blanca, and one with Ken. And what felt like an eternity in there probably wasn't, because I just got beaten really, really quickly. Because, you know, the Street Fighter II arcade game was really difficult, I feel. But it was just such a good time. It was a really powerful memory that I'd love to get a toy representation of that time. And because I love Street Fighter II, but Storm Collectibles, you know, they're a little bit out of my price range, and they're not coming out for months and months on end. And I was chatting to the Figure Force guys about this on our WhatsApp group, and then SMSNO was just literally, it might have even been in capitals, Turtles, and I was like, oh my god, yes! The arcade machine of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 4-player, is incredible. It's one of my all-time favourite arcade machines of all time. I love it so much. It's such a good game, and that also comes with a memory. When that came out, we went on a school trip, a field trip to Granada Studios tour up in Manchester, and we got to walk along the cobbled streets of Coronation Street, and we went on a Motion Master cinema experience through Checkpoint Charlie and through like a set of The Borrowers where everything was giant sized. And it was a really, really cool school trip. We hadn't really been on school trips that impressive before. Yeah, we'd been to like the National History Museum and like the local farm, but nothing came close to that school trip. But what made the school trip was the fact that once we'd done all the tour, we had like an hour or 2 hours to do as we please, and we could revisit parts of the tour again, or you could go down the streets of Manhattan, and at the end of the street was a diner. So that's where we had our packed lunch. But in that diner there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was there with my 4 friends, my 4 childhood friends that we spent all our time together all the way through our teenage years, and we put all our money in that machine to play 4 players at a time. You know, you've always got money on a school trip, you know, your parents give you a little bit of cash, you know, because you want to exit through the gift shop and you want to have a memento of that day. But we didn't. We literally put all our money into playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What made it so good was the fact that we all had our own favourite turtles, and it was one each. Donatello has always been my favourite ever since a child, and it still is to this day, and I got to be Donatello when we played, and it's a really, really powerful memory. And then as the WhatsApp chat kind of fizzled out, I guess I slightly kind of just forgot about it, put it into the back of my mind for a while as we went on to the next topic. Randomly, about 3 hours later, a friend of mine who's also a toy collector, who I haven't actually spoken to in months, phones me up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm selling some of my Turtles stuff. I need to make room, sadly." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not interested, mate. You know I don't need any vintage Playmates toys. I picked up Casey Jones last year, and I had plenty of them as a kid." And he was just like, "I'm not selling those, am I? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry. Well, what do you think that I might want then? You know I'm eclectic when it comes to toy collecting, and I have these nuances." And he goes, "Oh, I've got the NECA arcade 16-bit Turtles for sale. You know, I got two. I have one on display, and I've got one sealed in the box. And because I need to make room, I'm selling off some of my box stuff." And I'm like, "You're kidding me, right? You're going to sell your Turtles?" And he's like, yeah, definitely." And I'm like, "Oh, you couldn't have called at a better time." I'm like, this is exactly what I want. But straight away, my head goes on. I'm like, "How much do you want for this, actually?" Because I was super excited and I would have said yes straight away, normally. But I was just like, "How much do you want for it?" And he told me the price. And I was like, "Yes, I'll have it that, definitely." A week later, here we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from NECA, done in the arcade style. And they are incredible. They're all like super pixelated, so they look like the screen. But before I get into the figures, I'm going to show off the box, because the box is super cool. So it's got this mix of like the latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Nickelodeon logo with what looks like, this is how the boxes came on like Super Nintendo and Sega Mega Drive imagery. And then the back is super cool. The back is just like the arcade machine with the pixelated graphics of each of your characters. And then you've got them in their super cool dynamic poses. It's such a cool box. And when you open it up, the bottom part is the joystick and the buttons with the 4 available, sorry about the light guys, ways to play, because it was a 4-player, and that was what made it super impressive game. So currently it's displayed as is with the box, but I've got the figures out before and they're super cool. But let's have a look at them now. First up, we've got Leonardo, and as you can see, the skin is done all pixelated, just like the actual screen, which they just look like they jumped off the screen. As you can see, it's pixelated all the way through on the shell, on their belt, you know, on the back of their head. Leonardo is actually the only one, I believe, that has a slither to have his katanas in there. And I thought, instead of just doing the articulation on every figure, I'd let the poses do the talking. You know, I think if you've watched my videos before, you'll know how good NECA figures are in terms of articulation, so I don't feel the need to show what twists round. You're going to get the idea from how I've posed them. you know, the smiles, or I don't know, Leonardo looks a bit more aggressive, being that he was a dual wielding swordsman. You've got to have that bit of aggression. But yeah, these are so incredibly detailed and vibrant. And obviously no action figure is complete without a couple of different hands. So you get a whole mixture of hands. You get thumbs up and an open palm. And of course, you get the pizza, and again, the pizza is all pixelated. You know, as you walked along, if you're low on health, you grabbed a bit of pizza and you got, I think, 3 or 4 bars of health. And no turtle set is complete without a box of pizza. Next up, you've got Donatello, or Donnie. And as I said, with the articulation, you can see I've given him the quizzical face, being that he was the intelligent one, very thoughtful. And I do tell a lie, you can actually put the bow in the back of Donnie's belt. But yeah, they're so posable, and they're so articulated, and they're so vibrant. Again, I'm probably going to repeat myself because I'm so excited about them. They're such a great change from vintage Playmates ones, which I enjoyed as a kid so much, and I have representations already, but to have a brand new type of Turtles figure in the collection, and especially one that comes from a powerful memory, they are turtly awesome. Oh, yeah, I went there. And then we've got Raph, and as you can see, I've given Raph a super articulated leg stance with the backwards katana. You also have fists where you can give him his signature, holding it through the grooves in his hands. And the red, that's like the perfect red for me for Raphael, just that little bit pinker. And again, he's got the gritty face. They're so good. But I've saved what I think the best for last. I'm not the biggest Michelangelo fan. I find him too comedic and too slapstick. But in the game, whenever you attacked, it would spin the nunchuck around, and I just think that is a super cool way to accessorize this set, and it really ties it into the whole look of that 16-bit arcade feel. And even like the wood on the nunchucker, it's so well detailed, and with metal chains. You know, I could find love with Michelangelo for the character because of this version. You know, I like all of them. What am I saying? And then to finally cap off all of the set, you actually get a diorama inside the box of a screen grab where the fire hydrant has been smashed, and you can see April O'Neil on the back, and you've got all your Turtles life support, and that's how they will be displayed at some point in the collection, if I can ever find space. So there we have our heroes in a half shell, done in the 16-bit style. Playing games consoles can be a lot of fun, and some arcade games have been well ported to those machines, but nothing beats the real thing. I'm fortunate enough to live by the seaside and have an amusement arcade right on the pier, and it's literally a stone's throw away. So my suggestion to you is that if you ever get the opportunity to go in an arcade again, then take it. You'll be filled with so much nostalgia from all the sights, the sounds and the smells. Perhaps even play a machine. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle.